Hello, my dear dreamer. Before we wander into the night together, I invite you to find a soft place to rest your head. Let your shoulders fall away from your ears. Let your hands grow warm and still. And draw in a long, deep breath, as gentle as the hush of a breeze through tall meadow grass. With every soft exhale, feel your thoughts untangle, like threads of spun flax loosened by quiet hands. Feel your eyelids grow heavy, your jaw soft, your heartbeat calm. Outside your window, picture the night waiting for you. A sky brushed with constellations. Stars glinting like tiny lanterns hung high by gentle hands. Imagine the hush that settles over an old village, where rooftops gleam silver with dew, and narrow lanes are empty but for the soft step of a single figure moving through shadows. Our story tonight begins beneath that starlit sky, where a meadow unfurls like a secret garden. At the very edge of the village, a place where wild herbs bloom in tangled patches, and the scent of lavender drifts through the darkness, like a soft lullaby for the land. In this meadow, a lone herbalist wanders. Her name is Edda, keeper of root and blossom, gatherer of petals kissed by the night. She wears a cloak of deep teal and mossy green, its hood pulled low to guard her thoughts from the silver gaze of the moon. Around her waist is tied a simple linen apron, edges stitched in tiny brown leaves, a gift from her grandmother who once gathered herbs in the same fields under the same quiet sky. Edda carries a wicker basket lined with soft cloth. Inside she lays each bloom with care, as if placing dreams into a cradle woven by gentle hands. Tonight, she kneels among patches of night-blooming jasmine, soft star-shaped flowers opening wide beneath the moon's hush. She hums to them, a tune older than the village, older than the winding stone walls that hold back the wild meadow. It is a tune her grandmother sang while she read the monks' old moon charts, recording when each root and petal held its strongest secrets. Long ago, in a monastery beyond the hills, the monks kept careful watch of the moon's silver path, scratching symbols on parchment by flickering candlelight, turning pages stained with oil from wild rosemary and thyme. They knew the power of the moon, how its pull could coax sweetness from lavender buds, how its hidden face could strengthen valerian roots, or whisper to the blooming chamomile when to unfurl and when to sleep. Edda keeps that memory alive in her fingertips, as she brushes back the leaves to find shy blossoms hidden beneath. She works barefoot in the grass, toes brushing soft clover, skin cool with dew and the hush of the night wind. Around her, crickets sing their sleepy song, a soft chorus that drifts across the meadow and hushes the village beyond the hedgerows. An owl calls once, twice, from a gnarled oak at the meadow's edge, its voice low and mellow, like a guardian of the dark. Edda does not flinch. She knows this hush is her companion. The rustle of leaves, the sigh of tall grass, the perfume of rosemary and sage clinging to her cloak. With each blossom she gathers, she murmurs a word. Small blessings meant for quiet minds. Valerian to calm restless thoughts. Lavender to soften the edge of dreams. Chamomile to cradle the mind in gentle warmth. Imagine kneeling beside her now. Feel the damp grass beneath your hands. Smell the sweetness of the meadow rising all around you. See the sky above, so wide, so dark, so gentle, studded with stars like seeds scattered by a careful sower. Breathe in with Edda. Slow, steady, deeper still. Feel the hush drift into your chest. Feel your shoulders sink a little heavier. Feel your pulse ease beneath your skin. When her basket is half full, she stands, the hem of her cloak brushing soft leaves, her feet padding quietly along the narrow path toward her little cottage at the meadow's edge. Picture that cottage now. Its walls are timber and wattle, whitewashed by daylight, but tonight they gleam pale gold in the moonlight. Smoke curls from the stone chimney, a sign that a small hearth crackles within, waiting to welcome Edda and her basket of dreams. She pushes open the wooden door. The latch creaks gently, the hinges whisper. Inside, the air is warm and rich with the scent of dried herbs bundled in fat bunches, hanging from ceiling beams worn smooth with time. On a wide oak table sit earthen jars, their sides painted with symbols and flowers, each sealed with linen and beeswax, tied with scraps of thread dyed in russet, indigo, saffron. A single candle flickers near the hearth, its flame soft and steady, casting shadows that dance across Edda's hands. As she lays her basket down, she moves with a hush, removing her cloak, folding it across a wooden chair, slipping her feet into woolen slippers stitched in faded teal. Outside, the wind rustles through the hedgerow, a hush of leaves, a promise that the night holds safe. All secrets gathered beneath its starry roof. Edda hums again, a note low and sweet, weaving through the soft pop of the hearth. The rustle of drying herbs overhead, the distant song of crickets still drifting through the open window. She opens a small chest carved with vines and tiny moons. Inside rest scraps of parchment, inked with moon phases. Her grandmother's careful script noting when to plant, when to harvest, when to brew, when to dream. She runs a finger over the symbols, tracing the old lines that guide her hands tonight. She smiles, folds the parchment away, and returns to her table to begin her quiet work. The meadow's hush follows her inside, a lullaby drifting on the warmth of the hearth, a promise that your mind may rest, your breath may ease, and your dreams may bloom as softly as night-blooming jasmine, beneath a sky brushed with constellations. Stay here with Edda now. Rest in the hush she keeps alive, cradled by the gentle crackle of fire, the perfume of herbs, the soft song of the starlit meadow. Settle deeper now. Sink a little further into the warmth around you. Imagine the hearth's glow brushing your cheeks, like the soft touch of a wool blanket. Outside, the moon drifts higher, casting silver lace across the meadow grass, while within these walls, Edda's quiet world grows softer still. She lights a second candle, beeswax and rosemary. The scent blooms sweet and calming, filling the small cottage with the warmth of a summer dusk. Held gently in a flame, her fingers move from jar to jar, lifting lids with care, inhaling the familiar perfume of dried chamomile heads, crushed mint leaves, and tiny lavender buds that slip like silk between her fingertips. She hums a tune her grandmother taught her, a note that curls around the rafters, weaving through the bunches of sage and bay, rustling the pages of the old moon charts resting by the window. Beyond the cottage walls, a night breeze sighs through hedgerows, whispering secrets to the garden fence, carrying the low murmur of the stream that winds nearby, its banks lined with moss and pale water forgettons that shimmer beneath the starlight. Edda reaches for a small copper kettle, well used, its handle polished by years of patient hands. She fills it with water drawn from a clay jug, and sets it on the hearth where the fire glows low and steady. Soon the kettle hums, a hush of steam rising in tiny puffs, warming the cottage air, misting the small window that frames the moon like a painted coin. She selects a clay cup, pale and simple, etched with curling vines, a gift from a traveling potter, who traded it for a pouch of dried rosemary last winter. Into the cup she sprinkles pinches of dried chamomile, a few slivers of valerian root, and 3 lavender buds, still fragrant from the meadow's touch. As the kettle sighs, Edda pours the water in a slow stream. Watch it swirl, clouding gently around the herbs, releasing their sleepy perfume that drifts up, wraps around her and now around you. Breathe in that warmth. Imagine the steam curling across your cheeks, carrying the hush of the meadow, the low hush of the hearth, and the soft rustle of leaves that brush the thatched roof overhead. Edda sits by the fire, cup in hand, her legs tucked beneath her, her eyes half closed as if she's listening to the whisper of the night just beyond her window. She remembers her grandmother's voice, A soft thread of words spoken beside the same hearth, telling of monks who rose in the deep hush before dawn, to chart the moon's shifting face, recording when valerian root would calm the sharpest worry, or when sage gathered beneath a waning moon would hold bitterness at bay. She remembers the way her grandmother's hands moved, sorting petals in silence, weaving them into sachets that villagers would tuck beneath pillows to chase nightmares away. Now Edda carries those same ways, those same whispered blessings hidden in jars, lined up like sleeping children on her shelves. She sips her tea warm and soft on her tongue, and feels the hush settle deeper in her chest, like a blanket of quiet draped across her shoulders. Imagine sitting beside her now, your own cup cradled in your palms, steam drifting like a sigh from your fingers. Outside, the moon drifts higher still, its silver face brushed with a faint halo of cloud, casting long shadows across the garden gate, where rosemary and sage grow in tangled clusters, woven through with thyme and pale sweet rocket, that blooms when the nights are cool. The crickets keep their patient song, a soft pulse that threads through the night, and carries you further from the day's heavy edges. Edda hums again, a lullaby for the herbs that hang overhead, for the shadows that dance on the walls, for the small clay cup resting warm between your palms. Listen as she tells you stories of old herb gardens, walled courtyards behind monasteries, where monks in russet and indigo robes tended beds of marjoram and sage, turning the soil by hand, marking the seasons. With scratched notes and careful prayers, they believed each plant carried a secret, one only the patient and the watchful could know. Roots that calmed the mind when dug by moonlight, flowers that held sweetness when plucked at dawn, leaves that guarded dreams when sewn into pillows, stuffed with down and hope. Tonight, Edda gathers those same secrets, threading them into small bundles tied with faded twine, tucking them into linen sachets embroidered with tiny moons and stars. She places one beside your cup, a gift for your dreams, a soft promise that when you close your eyes, the hush of the meadow will follow you into sleep's deep garden. The kettle hums again, the fire crackles low, a log shifts, sending a tiny shower of sparks, dancing up the chimney into the hush of night. Beyond the window, the moon slips behind a soft veil of cloud, a reminder that the sky keeps its own secrets, whispered only to those who wait, who listen, who breathe in the hush and let the night cradle them like roots holding fast beneath soft earth. Feel your own roots now, deepening into your bed, your breath slow and warm, your thoughts drifting like seeds, carried on a hush of meadow wind. Edda's cottage holds you safe, within its timber walls, its crackling hearth, its soft perfume of chamomile and lavender, woven through each breath you take. Stay here a while longer. The night has nowhere else to be, and neither do you. Beneath a sky brushed with constellations, stay here with Edda now. Rest in the hush she keeps alive, cradled by the gentle crackle of fire, the perfume of herbs, the soft song of the starlit meadow. Outside the cottage, a hush of wind stirs the hedgerows, carrying with it the scent of damp earth and wildflowers. The garden gate creaks on its hinges, a gentle sigh, as if it too is settling in for the night. Edda rises from her chair by the hearth, sets her empty cup on a small wooden table, and slips a woolen shawl around her shoulders, dyed in deep indigo with threads of russet and saffron, woven through in simple, comforting patterns. She lifts a wicker basket from its peg by the door, its handle worn smooth by many nights just like this, nights spent gathering secrets beneath the constellations. She unlatches the door, a soft click, a sigh of hinges, and steps into the night garden, where the moon has found its way free of clouds once more. Breathe in the hush with her. Cool, clean air brushed with a faint sweetness of night-blooming jasmine, the spicy green note of mint hidden among the garden beds, the damp musk of turned soil still warm from the day's sun. She treads softly along the narrow path, flagstones set crooked and moss-kissed, worn by the gentle press of her boots season after season. Around her, night creatures stir. A sleepy hedgehog rustles the fallen leaves. A soft-winged owl shifts on the branch of the old elder tree, its eyes two lanterns of quiet watchfulness, glimmering against the darkness. The meadow unfurls beyond the garden fence, a silken stretch of tall grasses, Queen Anne's lace, and moonlit clover that nods gently in the night breeze. Edda pushes the gate open, a gentle scrape of wood and iron, and steps into the hush beyond, her basket swinging lightly against her hip. She hums again, a lullaby for the wild flowers, a tune stitched into her memory, like the embroidered moons on her linen sachets. Each step carries her further from the small glow of her cottage, closer to the heart of the meadow, where the night blooms wake only beneath the moon's soft face. She kneels among the grasses, the hem of her indigo skirt dampened by dew, her fingers brushing aside green blades, to reveal the shy heads of night-blooming flowers. She finds moonwort first, tiny fronds silvered by starlight, believed by old folk to hold the power, to unlock what is hidden, to open what is sealed. She clips a few fronds with her small iron shears, the snip almost silent beneath the hum of crickets and the soft rustle of leaves. Next she finds evening primrose, yellow petals curled like tiny lanterns, glowing faintly in the hush of the meadow. She gathers each blossom gently, whispers a word of thanks to the dark soil, places the petals in her basket, cushioned among sprigs of mint and thyme. Above her, constellations drift across the velvet sky. Orion's belt, the plough, the soft spill of the Milky Way, like pale dust scattered by some careless giant. She pauses, basket resting on her lap, and tilts her head to listen, to the distant call of a nightjar, to the soft trill of a stream hidden beyond the slope, to the echo of her own breath, calm and slow beneath the vastness above. She knows the old stories, how monks would stand beneath these same stars, tracing their silver paths with careful fingers, marking when to harvest roots and leaves, for the strongest potions and the gentlest draughts. They believed the moon's pull gave each herb its secret. That chamomile held the hush of dusk, that lavender caught the hush of dawn, that valerian carried the hush of the deep night, where dreams run like hidden streams beneath sleep's soil. Tonight Edda is their echo, her fingers learning what they knew, her breath stitched to the same quiet hymn that has always hummed through meadows under moonlight. She gathers more, sprigs of mugwort, pale and soft with a silver sheen, long prized for its dream-bound magic, that keeps restless thoughts soothed like lullabies in a cradle. She finds wild lavender, hidden in the meadow's hush, not as bold as its garden cousin, but sweeter somehow, wilder, its scent carried easily by the hush of a passing breeze. One by one, each flower nestles in her basket, a small bed of petals, roots and dreams, cradled by wicker and the hush of the open field. She sits back on her heels, lets the basket rest in her lap, and lifts her face to the sky. The stars spill overhead like grains of salt scattered on velvet. Their light brushes her cheeks, glints in her hair, threads through the tall grasses swaying gently at her side. Breathe in with her now, the hush of wild mint, the cool kiss of night air, the sweet perfume of lavender and primrose drifting upward, mingling with the scent of dew and moonlit earth. Feel the hush slip deeper into your limbs, softening your shoulders, untying the knots that cling to your breath, loosening each thought until it floats free, like petals drifting on a slow dream-bound stream. Edda hums again, a note for you, for the flowers, for the quiet night, a note that carries you deeper, further from the edges of waking, further into the hush where sleep waits, warm and patient. She stands at last, basket full, heart soft, feet bare against the cool grass. She turns back to her cottage. Its warm light a lantern among the shadows. A promise of warmth and hearth and the quiet hush of dreams. Beneath a sky brushed with constellations. Stay here with Edda now. Rest in the hush she keeps alive. Cradled by the gentle crackle of fire. The perfume of herbs. The soft song of the starlit meadow. Step by step, Edda makes her way back along the narrow path. Each footfall soft against the damp earth. Her basket of gathered dreams resting on her arm. Swaying gently with her steady breath. Behind her, the meadow sighs. Crickets sing their steady lullaby. An owl drifts overhead on velvet wings. And the hush of the hidden stream weaves its silver song. Beneath the roots of willow and alder. She pauses at the gate. Lays a hand on the worn wood. Lets her fingers brush the iron latch cold with dew. For a moment she stands still, listening to the night breathe. Feeling the hush slip through her shawl. Curl around her wrists like a secret blessing. When she pushes the gate open, it creaks in greeting. An old friend's voice, patient and warm. The garden welcomes her back. Rosemary brushing her skirt, thyme nodding in the breeze. Moonlight spilling across the flagstones in soft, shifting pools. Inside the cottage, the fire still glows. Embers pulsing like a heartbeat. Casting gentle shadows that dance across the shelves. Lined with glass jars, wicker baskets, and bunches of drying sage. Edda sets her basket down on the wooden table. Unpacks each stem and blossom with tender fingers. Laying them in small piles upon a square of linen. Arranged like tiny offerings to the hush that lives in her walls. She lights another beeswax candle. Its flame flickers gold and steady. Melting the edge of the night, inviting warmth back to her hearth. The kettle hums again as she pours fresh water. Steam curling into the soft beams of candlelight. Gathering the hush and carrying it higher. Like a whispered wish floating upward through the rafters. She sprinkles moonwort into a small earthen bowl. Its fronds silvery and delicate. Each one a promise of quiet dreams and hidden doors. Unlocked only when the mind drifts far and the body rests easy. She ties the mugwort into tiny bundles. Bound with thin twine dyed a soft teal. Soaked in elderflower to hold its scent. These bundles she slips into small linen sachets. Each embroidered with a star, a crescent moon. Tiny stitches made by firelight when winter winds press close to the walls. She hums as she works. A low, warm note that drifts through the room. Stirring the air like the rustle of leaves beyond the thatch. Outside, the moon leans westward. Its silver coin slipping closer to the far hills. Leaving behind a sky scattered with more stars than one could ever count. Inside, the hush thickens. Settles into the wood grain of the table. Into the folds of Edda's indigo shawl. Into the warmth of your breath, slow and deep. She pours another cup of tea. This one steeped with primrose and mint. A touch of wild lavender that blooms soft and sweet. Against the back of your tongue. You cradle this cup in your hands. Feel its warmth seep into your palms. Its steam brushing your cheeks like a mother's gentle touch. Bidding you hush now, hush and drift. Edda smiles at you. Her eyes soft and crescent-shaped. Like the waxing moon that guards the village rooftops tonight. She lifts a small vial from the shelf. A simple glass bottle stoppered with wax. Inside it tiny petals float like soft stars caught in amber. She tells you how her grandmother taught her to trap the hush of the meadow. Gathering flowers beneath the new moon's dark face. Sealing them away with a whispered blessing. So their quiet strength waits for nights just like this. She places the vial beside you. A gift for your dreams. A promise that when you wake, the hush will linger. In the spaces between your thoughts. Soft as a meadow's sigh, patient as starlight. Listen now to the walls. The crackle of the hearth. The hush of wind slipping through the eaves. The gentle creak of old wood settling deeper into the night. Feel your breath grow slower. A tide pulling you further from waking. closer to the hidden garden inside your dreams, where night-blooming flowers open wide, and the stars whisper stories only your heart can hold. Outside, the owl calls once, a soft note that drifts through the garden gate, slips beneath the door, and curls itself around the warmth of the room. Edda hums back, a reply only the owl and the old trees can hear, a thread of song that ties her to the hush, to the moon, to you. She leans close, brushes her hand over your brow, as if smoothing away the last tight corners of your thoughts, inviting them to loosen, to drift like petals on a stream. Your eyes grow heavy now, heavy like stones sunk deep in mossy earth, heavy like roots holding you steady in sleep's soft soil. The kettle hums its final hush, a lullaby of steam and warmth, a promise that the night will keep you safe, wrapped in wool and candlelight and the sweet breath of lavender. Outside, the wind carries secrets through the hedgerows, old songs of monks who once watched the same moon, tending their hidden gardens behind thick stone walls, marking the hush in careful ink and whispered prayer. Inside, Edda watches over you, her shadow cast long and soft against the wooden beams, her breath calm as she tidies her bundles, ties them with russet twine, places them in small baskets lined with dried mint leaves. She hums once more, a note for the hush, a note for the moon, a note for your dreams, drifting now like seeds, across the velvet hush of sleep. Outside the small cottage, the wind hushes even more, soft and cool as it slips through the garden gate, ruffles the rosemary and thyme, and brushes the thatched roof with a quiet sigh. Inside, the candle burns lower, its golden flame pools wax along the brass holder, casting shadows that dance in slow circles along the walls, flickering over shelves filled with bottles, bundles of dried herbs, small wooden bowls. Edda closes her basket, empty now but for the faint perfume of lavender and mint that clings to its wicker weave. She rests it on its peg by the door, an old companion waiting for the next moonlit wandering. Her shawl, soft with wear, slips from her shoulders. She folds it carefully, tucking it into a cedar chest, where sprigs of rosemary keep moths at bay, where secrets of other nights rest, hushed and safe. The fire crackles low, a final heartbeat of warmth before the embers sigh and drift into quiet ash. She moves to the small window, pushes it open a hand's width, letting the cool hush of the meadow slip inside, carrying with it the faint trill of a nightjar, the hush of tall grasses brushing together in secret conversation. She turns to you now, eyes soft as dusk, voice gentle as the hush itself. "There," she whispers, "all gathered. The hush of the stars, the hush of the meadow, the hush of old dreams stitched between petals and roots." She places a small sachet near you, linen soft against your pillow, stitched with tiny moons and stars in pale gold thread. Inside, dried lavender and mugwort breathe their fragrance, woven with the quiet blessing of countless nights like this one. She leans close, her breath warm as she hums the last note of her song, a note that drifts from her lips to your heartbeat, settling there like a soft stone dropped into a calm pond. Outside, the night deepens. The moon tips toward the western hills, its silver light slipping away as dawn readies her pale brushstrokes behind the far dark ridge. But dawn is not here yet. For now, you are wrapped in night's gentle cloak, held safe by the hush of the old cottage walls, the steady hush of your own breathing, the hush of Edda's small garden resting beneath the stars. You feel your thoughts grow heavy, petals folding inward, roots sinking deeper into the quiet soil of sleep's waiting meadow. The owl calls once more, a final lullaby carried on feathered wings, echoing through the hedgerows, past the cottage door, into the warmth that holds you here. Edda hums again, softer now, a secret just for you, a song of moonlight, of hidden flowers, of the gentle hush that keeps watch, long after your eyes have slipped closed. Her hands rest in her lap, still and patient like old roots waiting for rain. She watches the candle flicker, watches your breath grow slow and even. The hush thickens, sweet and certain, like the scent of mint in a summer breeze, like the soft press of wool blankets, like a dream drifting downstream, beneath the watchful stars. Her voice comes one last time, low as wind through tall grasses. Rest, little seedling of the hush. Sleep soft where moonwort blooms, where primrose glows like hidden lanterns, where your dreams gather nectar from the dark, and return to you sweet and slow. Sighed the first star fades. The owl's wings brush the branches of the old elder tree. A fox slips through the hedgerow, leaving only a whisper of paw prints in the soft earth. Inside, the candle's last flame sighs away. The hush takes its place, warm and endless. And so you drift, held by the hush, carried by Edda's whispered song. Your mind a meadow blooming with quiet stars. Sleep now. Sleep deep. Sleep dream full and gentle. The hush is here. The hush will hold you. The hush will wait for you when dawn comes. And all is well. All is well. All is well.